Hello and welcome to Culture Shark, a live stream about all things pop culture. I'm Final Monkey,
And I'm Caleb.
and today we are going to talk about one of the greatest rock and roll bands of all time. We are going to talk about the documentary about their lives. This is Spinal Tap, which came out in 1984. I had previously seen this movie. Caleb, did you know anything about Spinal Tap going into this?
I knew that it was a fake band. I knew it was a
What? They're
fiction.
fake. You
So
ruined the magic for me.
I knew it was a fictional band like the Monkees or Josie and the Pussycats. I knew it was kind of in that vein. Um, and I didn't know it was a mockumentary until uh I think it was the trailer for the second one.
Yeah.
Like the trailer for the second one was I was like, "Oh, so this is a mockumentary type thing. Gotcha."
Yeah. And the great thing is there really is, other than the songs, there really was no script. They really were
Yeah.
just making up everything, which is hilarious. And it makes it more believable and realistic. And so we'll do our quick review, and I don't know if you can really spoil this movie. It's about a rock band
Yeah,
and about
it's
it's it's about a rock band that is on its way out. Like this is like kind of like the dying days of their glory days are behind them, and you have the main trio, which is, let's see who we got. We got is it David St. Hubbins, I believe? Yeah, David St.
yes.
Hubbins, Nigel Tufnell, and Derek Smalls.
Yes.
And then we have their keyboardist. I really should have pulled up their names. Hold on while I do that. And then their drummer. And
And
the
you don't have to pull up the drummer's name because I mean they make it clear that the drummer doesn't matter.
does not matter. At one point, I think they mentioned there has been was it 37 members of the band.
Yes.
There's a point where Nigel quits the band. He goes, "Are you upset?" He's like, "No, I mean we've got through 37 members. People will come and go all the time." Um, I think I think this is a very funny movie. I think it's funnier if you've been in a band or you are a musician. Like I think it hits differently. It
Yeah, and that would. I mean, have you been in any
I
sort of
have
band?
never been in a band, no. So,
So I have.
yeah.
um, um, I was never I was never emotionally attached to that band though, because I was like their fourth bass player, and I kind of knew that I was not gonna be a part of it. Um, but it is fun, kind of. I almost felt like Rob Reiner, uh, because I was like in the thick of it. Which, by the way, I'll go ahead and say this. Uh, for my generation, Rob Reiner is the greatest director that nobody ever talks about.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Um, and not just that. He's also one of the greatest comedy actors that nobody ever talks about.
Yeah,
um,
yeah. I think a lot of
s-
people talk about his dad more than him.
yeah.
So,
But for me, it's really funny because um, okay, I didn't know that this was a Rob Reiner thing until he appeared on screen. That's one thing I didn't know. um, but so we're going through. We're a little bit behind on the Bear. Like Bear season 4 came out a couple months ago. And so we never we started it, but then we never finished it. So we're getting back into the Bear. season 4, and the episode that we start watching, Ibrahim, who runs the sandwich shop behind the fancy restaurant, uh, hires a consultant to, like, help him. How do I expand this little thing I got going in the back of a restaurant? And when the consultant shows up, it's Rob Reiner. And he's hilarious. I'm a big fan of the show New Girl, and Jess's dad is Rob Reiner. So one of my favorite, and this is just me gushing about Rob Reiner now, but I mean, we were talking about this before we even pressed live. There's not a whole lot to say about this movie, so
Yeah, well,
uh,
let's talk about some of the plot points.
yeah.
Uh, Earlier, I was saying this hits different for musicians. Allegedly, Steven Tyler got up and walked out of the theater when they were doing the scene where they were lost backstage because he thought they were making fun of him and something that happened to, to Aerosmith.
That's really funny.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, it'll hit differently for your musician. The other thing is, I noticed a lot more things this time that I missed the first couple of times around. There's so many jokes that are just subtle in the background, and a lot of actors are in this before they were famous. Like Dana Carvey's in this. I don't know if you even noticed that.
I
Um,
didn't.
he's one of the mimes waiters.
Oh,
And so there's a lot of, Paul Schaefer's in it. Just a lot of little cameos. There's a scene near the beginning um, where I have to choose my words carefully because of YouTube. They all have cold sores in one scene. It's not mentioned, but if you're paying attention, you're like, wait a second. It's really funny. So, um, so
well,
this
one
is yeah. Go
and
ahead.
one thing for me, like, mentioning, people before they're big. So the main three, were they big at this point?
So the main three are Michael McKean, Christopher Guest, and Harry Shearer.
Yes.
Michael McKean was on Laverne and Shirley. So let me go through them one by one. So that was what year was Laverne and Shirley?
Big thing, because for me, Michael McKean is Chuck McGill on Better Call Saul.
Uh,
That's who Michael McKean is for me. He's phenomenal in Better Call Saul. And so I know him as an old man.
so I'm just reading online. He was in a 1976 was Laverne and Shirley. But him and Harry Shearer were in a comedy group called the Credibility Gap before that. And then they on Laverne and Shirley, him and a guy named David Lander played Lenny and Squiggy. That's what they were known for. And they in one of the episodes they had a band called Lenny and the Squigtones, and Christopher Guest was one of the members of the band in that episode. So, and the song from that episode, "Foreign Legion of Love," was played frequently on the Dr. Demento show.
Oh, gotcha.
So let's see. Yeah, so that's kind of where this sort of originated from, them kind of coming together, Christopher Guest and all them. So let's see, Christopher Guest. Now I know him from Princess Bride. And then he later made a lot of mockumentaries that I really like Best in Show, Mighty Win, Waiting for Guffman, and so on. And he was also on Saturday Night Live in
Hmm.
'84 through '85. So yeah, I don't think he was a big deal before
Okay.
this movie.
He was also, I think he was the doctor in Few Good Men.
Okay. Uh,
Which is funny because that's also Rob Reiner.
yeah, so I'm just reading. Yeah, so '70s he was on Saturday Night Live, and yeah, so then '84 was Spinal Tap. And then Harry Shearer, who is famous for The Simpsons, Let's see. He was also a cast member of Saturday Night Live. So a lot of them were on Saturday Night Live, and then he went on to voice most of the Simpsons characters. So there we go.
Okay.
Um, yeah. So also we have their manager, who is Ian Faith, played by Tony Hendra. And so a lot of this is he kind of reminded me of. Do you ever watch Flight of the Concords and their manager that's on there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of that, where he's trying to get him gigs and stuff, but he does an okay job, but it's just like they're just not popular anymore. So a lot of the venues keep canceling and things keep going. He's trying to pull it together. Eventually, David St. Huband's girlfriend shows up and just kind of wrecks everything. She thinks that she should be leading the band. Nigel can't stand her, and it leads to eventually Ian quitting, being their manager, and then eventually Nigel quits the band also. Until at the end they find out that they're big in Japan, and Ian's brought back in as their manager at the end. I mean that's kind of the movie.
Yeah.
Most
I
of it is more gags and interviews, and their
mm,
misadventures that are going on between those
yeah.
events.
If I can compare this to something, and this is kind of where you have to make a decision as a reviewer, because this is one of those things where it's the first of its kind, um, and at this point, in 2025, this is a dime a dozen. We've seen this before, and honestly, it's been done better. But this is the first one, so you have to take that into account as well.
Yeah, I
Uh,
can't remember if Rudol's. I think Rudol's comes out before this, but I don't
mhm,
know if it was a mockumentary.
um,
So that was Eric
yeah,
Idle's spoof of the Beatles.
right. So what I'm thinking of is Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping, which is the Lonely Island movie. Have you seen that one?
I have not seen that.
Are you familiar with it at all?
I mean, I'm familiar with Lonely Island. I'm not. I've heard it's funny, but I don't know
Yeah.
anything about it.
Oh, gotcha. So first of all, I think that one is hilarious, and you can definitely see the difference between uh this and Lonely Island's movie because of the times that it comes out during the people's careers. So first thing is Never Stop, Never Stopping. Um, it actually kind of has more of a plot. They definitely did do more of a script. Um, but secondly, because for the Lonely Island, it's already kind of like, you know, 10, 15, 20 years into Andy Samberg and all them's careers.
Mhm.
Um, they actually have like so many uh, big name celebrities, um, like you know, like Paris Hilton and Mariah Carey, um, and they're just playing themselves. What's it? Adam Levine's in it. But they're playing parodies of themselves. So like, the opening song is called "I'm So Humble," which was it's like, oh, this is what really got them, super big, and it's a song about all being, it's supposed to be about being humble, but he's talking about how he's the most humblest. Oh my gosh, I'm so humble. Like it's one of those songs. And then once the song's over, it cuts to Mariah Carey, and she's like, I'm so humble was such a big inspiration for me because I think I am the most humble person I know. Uh, s- uh, it's really funny for Never Stop Never Stopping uh, to see like all of the parodies of these big name celebrities. You don't really get that in this because uh, I think this was one of Rob Reiner's first movies, if I'm correct. Um,
Probably.
Yeah.
I'll look it up while you're uh
Um,
talk about
but and same with the main trio. So and that's kind of what I mean by you gotta make a decision about what you're gonna take into account while reviewing this, because I mean, rock and roll mockumentaries are done all the time at this point.
it. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. This was his first movie.
gotcha. Um, and so and I'm actually very familiar with all of them because I like them. Um, but this was the first one, so that's I say all that to say, um, you're gonna notice that there's not really a script. You're gonna notice there's not really a plot. Um, but they were kind of in uncharted territory here.
Yeah, and I think they're so quick on their feet answering his questions, and the way they play off each other, it's really funny.
Yeah,
And I was just gonna say, like when they just talk about former bandmates and stuff, and how they just play off each other with the stories, and it's just really well done.
I would say my favorite, because like if we're gonna talk about our favorite quotes. I'll be honest, none of the song. This is my first viewing,
Hmm.
um, and hair metal has never been like a music style that stuck with me. So like for me, it would take a couple of viewings for me to actually, you know, talk about like the songs that I liked. None of them really stuck with me. I can definitely talk about like the song scenes that
Yeah,
stuck with me. Like whenever I think it was Derek Smalls, uh gets stuck in the alien pod.
yeah,
Like that's like, and so like it's, at first it's like he gets stuck in there and like, okay, yeah, he's stuck in there, and then like it keeps going, and then he starts reaching for help, and then the and then the stagehand gets a mallet and starts banging, but he starts banging to the beat of the song.
yeah. A lot of it is the looks on the other performers' faces while it's happening and stuff, and they're once they realize something is happening, and they keep playing, and they get some blowtorch out.
Yeah.
And then
um
it finally opens and he can't get back in.
um if I were to say my favorite, because you bring up all the different band members and how they uh how they're like playing off of each other with the story, I would say my favorite line comes from Michael McKean, where he says, dozens of people spontaneously combust every year. It's just not widely reported.
The one that got me, I'm gonna misquote it here. They're trying to get the hotel room, and they were supposed to have seven different rooms, and they booked them all for one room for 7 men or whatever they said.
Hmm.
And uh,
Oh, I noticed this one.
well, there was a couple funny lines. He goes, "Have you ever tried to put 7 men?" He goes, "No." He goes, "I can't say I've had the pleasure," or something.
Yeah.
Yes. They call the other person over. He goes, "Can I help you?" And he goes, "Yeah, this twisted fruit here won't help me." And he goes, "I am as God made me, sir."
I thought that guy was really funny. Um, and so if I recall, because I actually just watched this after church today, so it's a little fresh in my mind. I think he
Mhm.
says, "Have you ever tried to stuff 11 men in one?" And I think he says, "Don't." I think he says, "Don't tempt me, sir."
Something, yeah. Just there's just so many funny lines. It's so many, like at the end where they're talking about they could move on to other projects, like their Jack the Ripper musical about Jack's a saucy boy, and they
Yeah.
both just start singing the song. And uh, yeah, there's just so many funny quotes, and the lines in the songs are so funny. And I know, like I said, I noticed a lot more this time, like all the camera angles constantly on their crotches while they're singing and performing, and uh and the I don't know what's going on with the keyboard player. Just some of the shots of him look like he's completely out of it while he's playing.
Um, I think the thing. So I always like to talk about the thing that the thing in a movie that first gets me to audibly laugh. I do this with TV shows as well. Like, how long does it take for a movie to make me audibly laugh or like, ha ha, like actually more than just, that's funny, Um, and I remember what it is. It's whenever they're going through their albums, and I think it's Rob Reiner who's talking about the different reviews. Um, and he says, uh, yeah, and then there's here's a review for your uh, album Shark Sandwich. It's just it's just two words. Shit sandwich, and they're like, "There's no way it says that. You can't put that on television.
Where does it say that? Come on, where they print that?
They don't print that."
Yeah, it's really funny, and I like the venues keep getting smaller and smaller until eventually they're it's puppets and Spinal Tap. And she's like, "Oh, we were supposed to be above the puppets," or the title.
Um, okay, so there's another thing that I want to mention because I noticed it, and this it's just there is there are things that I notice being a music person, one who knows about bands and whatnot, that I find very interesting. So this comes out in 1984, right?
Mhm.
And the album that they are releasing, "Smell the Glove," which is a great name, is supposed to come out it comes out in 1982. This takes place, I think, some of it takes place like 2 years before the actual release of the movie. Um, and there's a big thing about how the album cover is too offensive to be put on store shelves, and I think it was Sears and Kmart are
Right.
boycotting it.
Which I don't remember
And
Sears selling music ever. I'm trying to think as a kid, did Sears ever sell music? I don't know.
they so they did when I was a kid. I remember CDs being at Sears.
Okay. I just didn't
Uh,
remember there being music
but
there.
but but like we're talking about 20 years difference, like who
Yeah,
knows?
yeah.
Um, and so and this is all. It took me a second because I'm like, who is this? Of course, it's Fran Drescher.
Yeah.
Um, um, so this is like this is a whole thing that she's telling him and all that. Well, then Ian and this is where I'm like, Ian might be a bad might be a bad uh, uh, manager because he gives them the new album cover. They've printed it. They've sent them out. It is non-negotiable. It is the Black Album.
Yes.
It is nothing on the cover. Um, and he compares it. He's like, no, this is gonna be the Beatles White Album, but for you guys. And of course, nobody buys it or anything.
Right.
The reason I find this interesting is because in uh, I believe it is 7 years from this point, from 1984. In 1991, Metallica would release their Black Album. And then after Metallica releases their Black Album, it becomes a very common thing to do that. Weezer has a Black Album. um, and it's one of those things where like I've always thought it was a reference to Beatles' famous White Album. Um, but now I'm like, this is Weezer we're talking about. This is Metallica we're talking about. They must be talking about Spinal Tap. because like Metallica, like of course Weezer is a funny band, but Metallica, they themselves are also very funny. So they can get in on the joke.
Yeah, so I'm on the Wikipedia page. I'm just reading the musicians' reactions um, to the film.
Uh-huh.
Uh, so it says Lars Ulrich said the 1992 tour seemed so Spinal Tap, and then they're talking about support of their own Black album. And they said that Metallica met with Spinal Tap and discussed how their Black album was a homage to the Spinal Tap Spell the Glove. So
Oh,
yes, it is a
that's
reference.
that's hilarious.
And then they said there's never been a good documentary of rock and roll bands. They said, well, except for Spinal Tap, that was the only one worth watching.
I think I've heard that. I think I've heard that quote before. Um, but yeah, this is just a really. It's funny, but it's also just a very interesting film.
Yeah. They said Steven Tyler did not find any humor when he first saw it, and when the film was released, Aerosmith's cover then had Stonehenge on the cover. Let's see. U2's guitarist The Edge. He said when he first saw Spinal Tap, I didn't laugh. I wept because it summed up what a brainless swamp big label rock music had become.
Yeah, I mean,
And then Chris France of the Talking Heads said we watched Spinal Tap, and I thought, oh, I could never take myself seriously again.
yeah. It it's it's almost like so I remember showing a movie to my friend Willis. Willis is the lead guitarist for a Louisville band called Shoelace Temple. This is actually the band that I was the bass player in. Um, and I decided to show we do this thing called good movie bad movie where Cameron and I we watch a lot of movies, we've seen a lot of movies, and he hasn't, and so we'll show him a bad movie followed by a good movie, and so
Mm.
I think we showed him Eternals. That's the
Oh
bad movie.
God, yeah.
um, Followed by and I genuinely believe this to be a good movie. Josie and the Pussycats, the one from the late '90s, early
Hmm.
2000s. It's one of those things where like it's a movie. It's a marketing nightmare because who do you market that for? Um, and so I just was like, we're gonna watch this, and we get done with this. He's like, I mean, this is a funny movie, but like it was funny because I recognize all of this.
Hmm.
um, so it's I don't know whenever it comes to not musicals, but movies about music, whether it is Spinal Tap, Josie and the Pussycats, That Thing You Do, that's another great one.
Hmm.
Um, as Scott Pilgrim, I think that the people that really appreciate it are also the people not laughing, but are just like, I endure this, you know?
Yeah, they're too close to it. They're too close to it to find it funny, you know. So, um, yeah, the Stonehenge scene is amazing. It's amazing, an amazing joke. Um, the getting the feet and it just mixed up, and then when the leprechauns come out and start dancing.
Which which is funny because here's some more here's some more modern day music lore that's like it's one of the it's so weird because there are things that I know about the music industry now that's like, does this come from Spinal Tap? uh because one of my favorite bands is uh here I'm actually getting this pulled up. Is Blink 182. They're one of my favorite bands, and they had a big song called "All the Small Things," and so uh, what they did for the Video Music Awards is, and this was in 2002, 2002, I don't know. Uh, they play "All the Small Things," and as a reference to the small things, um, they just have like 20 midgets come on stage and start dancing. um, and so now I'm like, okay, it's funny because the song's called "All the Small Things." Yeah, I get
Right,
that.
right.
But now I'm like, is this a Spinal Tap reference too?
It has to be. I can't imagine, especially, I think bands like in the 90s, they had to grow up watching this movie,
Yeah,
so
really.
I could definitely see it being a huge influence on, yeah, different bands. Uh, you brought up, I think last week or week before, that you thought that maybe Limousine on Homestar Runner, their fake metal band, was maybe a Spinal Tap reference. I think it is now that I'm
Oh
rewatching
yeah.
it. Especially when Homestar Runner does that song "Sweet Cup and Cakes," and I think that when that what the song was called, they were listening to on the radio, like his old song was something about cup and cakes or something.
Well, so Sweet Cup and Cakes was the name of their cartoon.
Right, right,
With A Steve. So yes, I believe it was. I think they did. I think they the point of that was uh uh like a it's like a metal band doing a cover of the Banana Split show.
right.
You know. So yeah, I do think they do Sweet Cup and Cakes. um, of course, for me, uh, it just reminds me of because it's midnight. Because like whenever it comes to hair metal, uh, the lyrics never make sense. I've got the heart of a lion and the wings of a bat
Bad.
because it's midnight.
Right.
Because it's midnight. Um, and honestly, that's probably why hair metal doesn't stick with me because all I can hear is because it's midnight, and I'm like, I don't know what any of these, I don't know what any of these lyrics say. um, but yeah, there's just so I wonder if now that I think about this, so a spinal tap is a medical term, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I wonder if Love Handle is somewhat of a reference to Spinal Tap.
Oh, you're talking about on
Phineas
Phineas
and
and
Ferb.
Ferb?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Probably is.
See, now I'm just going through everything that I've ever seen, and I'm like, is this a is this a Spinal Tap reference? Is this a Spinal Tap reference?
Yeah, yeah. Um, so the reason we're talking about Spinal Tap is the sequel is coming out. So that they are making a sequel. This is, let's see, so 1984. If I do some quick math, so that would have been what, 41 years ago, 40
Yep.
years ago. Yeah. Um, so the three main actors are still alive, and in the sequel, it's Ian's daughter that is bringing the band back together, and in his will, he said they had to perform one last performance or something. So that's what the movie's about: is getting the band back together. And Paul Schaefer is returning. Paul Schaefer's character Artie Fufkin was so funny because he's their promoter, but all he does is promote himself constantly,
Yes.
which is so funny. The sequel is going to have Paul McCartney, Elton John, Garth Brooks, Questlove, Trisha Yearwood, Chad Smith, and Lars Ulrich are all going to be in the movie.
Which, funny enough, that's what I was just talking about. Uh, that this is the type of movie that could have all of these different celebrities in it, but nobody was big at the time. Well,
Right.
now Spinal Tap is huge.
Right. Apparently, there's been a legal lawsuit for years over who had the rights to the movie, so they finally won the lawsuit. So that's how they're able to do the sequel finally. So that's why there hasn't been a sequel. So let's see, and then they also thought it was the right time after Kate Bush was so popular through Stranger Things. So they thought this was the right time to do a sequel.
I mean, I definitely think that you really couldn't do a sequel to this before Stranger Things, because I don't think you get the boom of '80s member berries without Stranger Things. I think that's kind of what capped it off, you know.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, yeah. So the sequel comes out pretty soon.
The
Um,
12th.
yeah. So you know, sequels to things like this are hit or miss. I you know, it's 40 years later. Do they still got? I think they do. I think these three guys are pretty funny.
I mean,
Uh,
we just got Happy Gilmore too, and I'd say that was a hit more than a miss.
yeah. Uh, there is a dwarf in the cast, so
Yes.
um, I've heard rumors there might be a live performance at Stonehenge in the movie. So uh, I think this will be a lot of fun, and it'll be funny if this is if this is Rob Reiner's final film. It's like so like this is his first film and his final film he directs. I think that'll be funny. So don't know that for sure, but just think about that. That'd be pretty cool.
I mean,
Um,
it's either that or a few gooder men.
did you? Yeah, because Rob Reiner's 78, so I don't see him directed too many more films. Did you see it? Mel Brooks, he was best friends with Carl Reiner. Um, they just did what's the name of that movie? History of the World Part Two. They're doing
Yeah,
Spaceballs 2, and now they're doing what's it called? Even Younger Frankenstein or something.
I didn't see that.
Some TV show pilot being done by the What We Do in the Shadows guys, I think is what that is. So
That makes sense.
yeah, I
Um,
I feel like Mel Brooks is trying to like make as much money as he can right now before he dies for his kids or something. I don't know what he's doing, but he's bringing everything back. So
uh, I mean, it's so weird because so I went over to my parents' house like 2 weeks ago, and they love this show called Somebody Feed Phil, which is on Netflix. It kind of has it almost has an Anthony Bourdain feel, where it's just this guy, Philip Rosenthal, who like goes around the world. Like it very much is kind of like one of those travel TV uh, shows. Um, and the episode that I happened to walk in on, he was doing an interview with Mel Brooks on his birthday, and dude's like 100 years old.
he's still
And
sharp as can be.
I know what, yeah, and I'm like, he's gonna die before Spaceballs 2 comes out. What's going on?
Oh, I'm wondering if he's going to be in the Gogurt makeup for Spaceballs 2.
uh,
Yeah, he's
well, n-
99, and he reminds me of William Shatner. Like William Shatner is 90s, and he's still on Twitter and everything else, as sharp as can
oh,
be.
oh, hold on. I do want to. You said something, and uh, uh, you just said something. It was incorrect, but I think you're gonna be correct in a roundabout way. Um, so his character's name in Spaceballs was Yogurt. Um,
Oh,
however, however, I don't think he's gonna be in the movie. I think they're gonna do a baby yogurt thing and call him Gogurt.
because that's what I call Grogu all the time is Gogurt. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
no,
why I said it. So
oh no, yeah, I no, I think they're just gonna do a baby Yoda thing, but it's gonna be Gogurt. It's gonna be hilarious.
that would be really funny.
um, I don't know.
It'll probably be what's his name, Gad, playing him or something. But,
Josh Gad.
yeah,
I was gonna say, is it funnier to to CG, or is it funnier to put a baby in the yogurt makeup?
I would make the worst puppet ever. Is what I would do.
That
But
that would be, yeah, well, yeah, because Grogu is probably the greatest puppet ever.
yeah,
Uh, so to make him the worst puppet ever would definitely make sense.
yeah.
Um, oh man, I'm trying to think. That movie's going to be so weird because you've got so many people in that movie who are dead now.
I think John Candy's son is going to be in it, and I
Joan
don't know.
Rivers.
Yeah, but Joan Rivers has passed. The King has passed. I'm trying to think. Is I don't know. Is she going to be in it? I'm trying to think of what her name is. She's got a weird name, but
Daphne Zuniga.
something like that. I don't know if she's supposed to be in the sequel or not.
Uh,
Daphne, yeah, Zuniga. Let's see if she's going to be in the sequel. Because I don't
do
know
you
if
know what
she's
I
been in anything.
do you know what I think would be funny?
What's that?
Uh,
Yes,
oh
she
no,
will
oh
be in the
wait,
sequel.
oh dang, never. I was about to say, it'd be funny, and then I looked it up, and it looks like that I'm correct. Because I was gonna say it'd be cool if they got Lewis Pullman to play like uh a Kylo Ren type character. It looks like that is what they're doing. um, it is said the film will star Lewis Pullman as Starburst, the son of Lone Star and Vespa.
I didn't know she did the voice on the cartoon. Also, that's funny because there's the Spaceballs cartoon everybody forgets existed. Um,
I mean, that doesn't surprise me because out of anybody in that cast, she was not the breakout role.
yeah, she returned. Joan Rivers was on the cartoon also.
Joan Rivers, that one surprises me.
Don DeLuise was on the cartoon also. It's Pizza the Hut came back for that. So that
Uh,
cartoon was hit or miss. I did like the episode where the Empire uh, they end up hiring all the workers out of India to run the Death Star. That was a hilarious episode.
that's
Um,
really
and the Emperor had to keep calling customer service, getting upset. Yeah. The other joke I remember from that was the Harry Potter episode where her name was Princess Morhiney instead of Hermione. That joke always has been stuck in my head. So
when did that cartoon come out?
2008. It was on
Really?
D4. Yeah,
Oh, I didn't realize it was that recent.
yeah.
Well, then never mind. I'm not surprised that Joan Rivers was on it.
So, yeah. If you like Spinal Tap, I would check out Christopher Guest's other movies. He's got a lot of these mockumentaries that are a lot of fun. Best in Show is really funny. Oh yeah, Fred Willard was in this movie too. It's the Navy guy that was like,
Oh, that was okay. I
did you
I
not realize
I
it was him?
no, I didn't.
Yeah, where he's like, oh, my hair's getting long too. They might think I'm in the band.
I I mean, I spent the majority of the time trying to figure out who David was, and it took me a little bit to be like, wait, that's Chuck from that's Chuck from Better Call Saul. So yeah, this is a
You-
it's a very rambly episode. I'd say there's not a whole lot to talk about with this because it's such a uh it's such a this is not a movie to be what analyzed, is that the word I'm looking for? Like, you don't really analyze this movie, you just kind of enjoy it.
yeah, I'd say so. But we got 45 minutes out of the conversation. That's pretty good. Did you know that Michael McKean is married to the girl from Smallville? Uh,
And Ned O'Toole, yes, I did.
yeah, yeah. So very cool. So that's our discussion on Spinal Tap. If you haven't seen Spinal Tap, go watch it. It's one of the comedy classics. A lot of people consider it one of the greatest comedies of all time. Of course, that might be nostalgia talking, but I still think it's a pretty funny movie, and the improv is amazing. The songs are really catchy. The Spinal Tap did release 3 albums, or maybe 4, and they do go on tour occasionally, which is pretty fun.
So these three, well, more two of them. Like, I don't think Michael McKean really was ever on SNL, but the other two, ended up on SNL. Did they ever do Spinal Tap for SNL?
There is a performance they did on SNL. Yes,
Okay.
yeah, they were the musical guest. So,
That's really
but
funny.
yeah, he was. Michael Keane was also on Saturday Night Live.
Was he
So,
like was I mean, other than a guest, was he like a?
no, he was in the 19th and 20th season, 94 and 95. So he was
Oh, really?
later.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Michael McKean's been in several projects and movies and um, TV shows. So
Have you ever seen the have you seen anything of Better Call Saul?
no, no. I've
Okay.
only seen one episode of Breaking Bad, and I was kind of like, yeah, this probably isn't for me, and I I noped out there.
Probably, yeah, probably not. There is a scene of Michael McKean. I'll have to send that to you. Where I don't know if you're ever watching anything, but you ever watch something and it's a monologue, and it's like there are going to be people who are auditioning with this monologue.
Yeah,
He has one in Better Call Saul, and it's great.
yeah, yeah. No, the only episode I saw of Breaking Bad was the one where they're trying to hide the body in the tub of acid,
Oh, it's
and
a great episode.
it is a great episode. But then somebody, I can't remember who, slept with this nasty hooker, and I was like, no, this
Yeah,
probably is not my show. So
yeah, no, yeah.
yeah, so yeah, I've heard it's a great show. Maybe one day, but it's you know, I
He
don't
was
know.
in Good Omens too. I forgot about that.
Yeah, yeah, he's the witch hunter in Good
Yeah,
Omens. Man, Good Omens season 1 is so good. It
yeah,
really is. So, all right. Well, that is our show today on Spinal Tap. And
and
next week,
things surrounding Spinal Tap.
yeah, yeah. Next week we will be talking about Life and Times of Scrooge McDuck Part 2. Really excited to finish this one up. One of my favorite comic book series. If you're a fan of DuckTales or Scrooge McDuck or Donald Duck for that matter, you really want to check that one out. So until then, I've been Final Monkey.
And I'm Caleb.
Catch you next time in the deep end.
See ya.